After a set of sporadic appearances in late 2021, Brock Lesnar seems to be more than a part-timer on the road to WrestleMania. There are several rumors suggesting that Lesnar will headline WrestleMania 38, possibly against Roman Reigns. But ahead of all of that, a new report has revealed when he will appear on the road to WrestleMania, with some interesting dates in particular. Brock Lesnar is the WWE Champion and is set to defend the title in a dream match against Bobby Lashley this Saturday at Royal Rumble. He will be expected to retain the title, with Reigns' Universal title reign potentially in bigger jeopardy as he faces Seth Rollins. TW Mania reported that Lesnar is advertised for the post-Royal Rumble episode of Raw. He will then appear on the February 14th episode from Indianapolis, which also happens to be the go-home show to Elimination Chamber. He is advertised for the Elimination Chamber show, meaning that he will defend the WWE title if he is still the champion. The report further stated, Lesnar will also be working the post-Elimination Chamber edition of Raw from the Colonial Life Arena in Columbia, SC on February 21st. The February 21st show is the last Raw date that Lesnar is scheduled for as of this writing. He is then advertised for a few SmackDown episodes before WrestleMania 38, including the February 25th SmackDown from the Giant Center in Hershey, PA, and the March 11th SmackDown from the Legacy Arena in Birmingham, AL. Despite not appearing every week, it appears as though the road to WrestleMania will be a busy one for the Beast incarnate. WWE fans will be happy as Lesnar's recent character change has been his most enjoyable one in years. It's interesting to note that February 21st is the last advertised date for Lesnar on Raw. While the card is always subject to change, the picture gets clearer as he is advertised for episodes of SmackDown before WrestleMania 38. Rumors have suggested that Brock Lesnar vs. Roman Reigns is the plan for WrestleMania 38. Whether it will be the WWE Championship or Universal Championship defended is unclear, but it's going to be one or the other, and not a champion versus champion match. It will be interesting to see how it plays out, but given how Lesnar has brushed the Almighty off, he could walk out of the Royal Rumble with the WWE title intact. This means that Brock Lesnar could bring the WWE title over to SmackDown and the two world titles may even change brands. Paul Heyman has shared his opinion on CM Punk's big return to pro wrestling last year. Punk made his AEW debut on Rampage, The First Dance, on August 20, 2021. He has seemingly been having the time of his life in All Elite Wrestling ever since. CM Punk's former manager Paul Heyman recently sat down for an interview with the Masked Man Show podcast and opened up on his highly anticipated return to pro wrestling. Heyman believes it will be a while before fans find out if Punk's return was a hit or a flop. Here are his full comments. What happens a year from now? How's he going to feel? How will the audience look at him and accept him in a year? If he can continue to drive himself to being a progressive, compelling, riveting character on the cutting edge that presents himself in a different manner than anybody else can present himself, herself, then he's going to be a fascinating character to watch. If he can't, then he's going to be someone that came back, rode a wave of nostalgia but didn't progress into the future when he as a rebel was always looking forward in the business and never trying to live off what the business had already accomplished or what he had already accomplished in the business, said Heyman. CM Punk aligned with Heyman in the midst of his legendary 434-day WWE title run. The association came to an end in 2013 when the latter turned on the straight-edge superstar. This led to a match between Punk and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2013, which the former lost due to interference from Heyman. CM Punk then feuded with Paul Heyman over the next few months. He left Vince McMahon's promotion on the road to WrestleMania 30 in 2014. Heyman remained a mainstay on WWE TV and was recently reunited with his former client Brock Lesnar. Do you agree with Heyman's take on CM Punk's return? Has Punk impressed you so far in AEW? According to the latest reports, former WWE Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey isn't expected to be at the hotel tonight, as well as tomorrow. With Royal Rumble 2022 almost on the horizon, reports have stated that Ronda Rousey could make her return at the mega event. It has been nearly 3 years since she last wrestled in WWE. Now, Paul Davis of Wrestling News is reporting that the baddest woman on the planet isn't expected to be at the WWE hotel in the next 24 hours or so. He acknowledged that WWE tends to take this route when big names are involved. The company flies them in at the last moment to keep these returns secret. A source told Wrestling News that people in WWE aren't unhappy over reports of Rousey's return. The general feeling backstage is that these reports help add more buzz to the Royal Rumble event. Dave Meltzer of WAR recently reported that Rousey could return on the road to WrestleMania 38 to resume her feud with Becky Lynch. It could mean Rousey might end up winning the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match. Rousey has a score to settle with Lynch, as big-time Bex pinned her during their last encounter in the main event of WrestleMania 35. The match also involved Charlotte Flair. In 2020, Rousey was streaming WWE 2K11 Battlegrounds on her Facebook account. She wasn't pleased one bit upon discovering that she and Lynch were both given the same rating. "They gave Becky the same as me. She knows that's bull's tea." "You know that's some bull's tea," said Rousey. Ronda Rousey brought major mainstream attention to WWE when she debuted in 2018. She is still a big name in the MMA world despite retiring a while ago. Do you think Rousey will make a big return on January 29th and end up winning the Women's Royal Rumble match? What are your thoughts on a potential Rousey vs. Lynch match at WrestleMania 38? Mark Henry has detailed what would make a feud between Roman Reigns and The Rock one of the best storylines in WWE history. Reigns has become one of the most compelling characters in professional wrestling over the last 2 years and has finally delivered on the expectations WWE had for him. The Tribal Chief gimmick has made him one of the best heels in recent years. Mark Henry, on a recent Busted Open radio show, described how The Rock returning to WWE and staking his claim as the true tribal chief of the Anoa'i family could make their storyline one of the best in pro wrestling history. There's only one thing that can be changed, and it's really not even a change. It's only one thing that can happen that can take it out of this world and make it. And that's for The Rock to come and say, "No, you don't run the family. I run the family." If that was to happen, it would be the biggest thing to happen in pro wrestling. Because this is already historically top-tier story without The Rock. You add The Rock, man, you can put it right up there with. Henry then added, you can put it right up there with another thing that The Rock was involved in. The Nation. You can put it right up there into Stone Cold Steve Austin's run and rise to prominence. The Bloodline faction that Reigns leads consists of him and his cousins, who are also members of the Anoa'i family. The Usos. The Rock responded to rumors of a match with the Tribal Chief last year, stating that he would be interested in stepping in the ring with the Universal Champion. Reigns, too, is keen to be in a storyline with The Rock and continue their family's legacy. I would, yes. I don't know if he wants it, but that's kind of something we do in our family as far as sports entertainment. Professional wrestling. WWE. This is our platform. This is our family business, said Reigns. The Universal Champion is expected to face Brock Lesnar at this year's Showcase of the Immortals. If a dream match between Reigns and The Rock does come to fruition, it will possibly take place at WrestleMania 39. WWE superstar Seth Rollins stated he is very confident about getting the better of his former teammate Roman Reigns on set at the Royal Rumble. The two former Shield members will face each other in St. Louis for the Universal Championship. The two superstars have faced each other several times in the past. Although Reigns has the greater number of wins on his side, Rollins has ended up on the winning side 9 times. Seth Rollins recently spoke to the NY Post about his match at the Royal Rumble and said that both superstars are at the top of their game. I'm extremely confident I'll beat Roman Reigns, based on our past history. Rollins said, you can look at it and say he's in a different place now. Well, I'm in a different place too. We're both very much at the top of our game, the best versions of ourselves, and have been improving on the same arc. Rollins also believes he has been successful in rattling the Tribal Chief and claims to be the only superstar on the current roster capable of getting into Reigns' head. I definitely feel like I've gotten inside his head. I've rattled him a little bit. I may be the only person who can do that on our modern roster, continued Rollins. The Tribal Chief Roman Reigns has made it clear that he isn't shy about mentioning Jon Moxley's name on television. Since the inception of AEW, there have been very few references to the promotion in WWE, but Rollins recently mentioned AEW star Moxley's name in a promo that shocked the industry. Appearing on the C Media podcast, Roman Reigns said he loved hearing Moxley's name in WWE and referred to the AEW star as his brother. I never shy away from my history, Reigns said. Those two are my brothers. Mox sat there. I mean, we've done, achieved, gone through the highs and lows, the ebbs and flows of it all. So that'll never change anything. I'll always have a deep love and respect for both of those guys. Do you think Seth Rollins can beat Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble? Do let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.